The sun, the giver of all life, the bright burning orb in the sky, and the one cosmic creation that all life in this galaxy owes its existence to. It pretty much goes without saying that without the sun, life on Earth and the rest of our solar system would be a dark, damp, and downright dismal place, and so we should be thankful of the warm, life-giving embrace that it currently graces us with. But have you ever thought about what would happen if, say, the sun turned against us? And not in the solar flare, end of the world in a single moment kind of deal, but instead slow and incredibly painful. Well, thankfully for us, the SCP Foundation just so happens to have such an event in their horrifying archives. So in that case, let's take a look. Hello Internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finch, as today we curiously ask the question, what if SCP-001, when day breaks, was real? Roll the clip. Yeah, if only you could solve this problem by pouring 2 canteens of water over yourself, maybe then we'd be in for a fighting chance. Thankfully for us though, that horrifying solar depiction is resigned to the fictional planet of Crematoria, and of course, for the curious amongst you, that scene was from 2004's The Chronicles of Riddick, starring Vin Diesel as the titular Riddick, a man who would certainly try his best at surviving the fictional outlines of SCP-001 when day breaks, but who would sadly, well, I guess you'll find out. But trust me, even Riddick isn't safe. And now that we're rearing our head back toward the fictional SCP Foundation, an organization which hosts some of the most horrifying hypothetical anomalies imaginable, it's probably best that we do what we do best and outline just exactly what we're dealing with. As the record states, SCP-001 is the designation given to the sun, our sun, after an event that occurred during a non-disclosed time and date. The event in question resulted in 6.8 billion casualties within the first 24 hours, and if that sounds like pretty much the entire population of the planet, well, it is. Near enough, anyway. You see, during the events of SCP-001, a visual spectrum effect appeared to take place, where upon contact with any visible light produced by the sun, living organisms literally liquefied at the point of contact, with the effect spreading until the entire organism is converted. Visually, this effect is highly reminiscent of melting wax, and the time it takes for this effect to complete is largely dependent on the level of exposure and the size of the organism. However, and this is an incredibly large however, despite this biomechanical restructuring, at no point do the living organisms perish, and upon completion of the SCP-001 process, these organisms take on an almost gelatinous consistency. Essentially, all flora and fauna on our planet, plant life, birds, human beings, giraffes, sloths, ladybirds, your next door neighbor, your president or your prime minister, all of them upon contact with any sunlight gets turned into an amorphous lump of biomass. And not only that, because yes, it does indeed get worse, they continue on with their preordained lives and try and orient themselves in a fashion reminiscent of their previous form, obviously to varying degrees of success. Flora typically remain physically inert, yet are still capable of photosynthesis, and more importantly, they still produce oxygen. It's business as usual, except everyone and everything are a giant ball of jelly. Organisms that are capable of flight lose the capability to do so. All fauna remain sentient, and so they display behavior that parallels their non-anomalous counterparts when not absorbed into a collective instance. We'll get onto that in a moment. Most importantly though, humans, as in you and I, retain a modicum of sapience and memory following the events of SCP-001. Lucky us. And whilst that may sound like the saving grace in an otherwise terrifying hypothetical scenario, it really isn't. In fact, it is the worst thing that could possibly happen, because not only are we a jiggling biomass of flesh and other such matter writhing around on the ground of a brand new sun-baked planet, we're also alive and conscious to witness the whole thing happening for all eternity. As you may imagine, there is no going back once you've literally been melted by the anomalous solar properties of SCP-001. But wait, because if you think that's already the worst possible outcome of such a hypothetical event, deep breath. It gets worse. You see, due to their composition, any instance of those affected by SCP-001, which from then on are designated as SCP-001-A, that then make contact with one another, be it any life form under the same effects, eventually combine and blend at a molecular level. Now, this does not seem to cause any pain or distress to the amorphous humanoid mass, but, well, as you may imagine, it's pretty damn disgusting. Not only that, but as you may also imagine, given the fact that there are over 7 billion people on this planet, if under the given circumstances all of them were to suddenly pool into a ball of human flesh jelly, the results would be pretty deep. I guess is the word. As the record goes on to elaborate, the resulting biomass is amorphous and chaotic. The component organisms will shift between a full to semi-liquid state. Limbs and bodies will rise periodically from within the mass for a short duration before deteriorating and being consumed by another life form. Collective instances will locomote by using their appendages in tandem to carry their mass. Larger instances will then form a sort of pseudopod from their constituent life forms, dragging themselves about in a manner similar to an amoeba. Yeah, you heard it correctly. This is a hard reset back to the origin of all life, back to the primordial soup swimming around, or in this case, crawling as the basest of all possible life. And all of that is thanks to our sun. Not in this case the giver of all life, but instead the resetter, I guess. I mean, the hypothetical implications of this terrifying notion are pretty self-explanatory, and the confines of SCP-001 are rather clear. Pretty much every human being at one point on a very clear and definite timescale would be affected by this gellifying sunlight, and even if they didn't, eventually the jellified amorphous mass would catch up with the few survivors. But who would those survivors be? What would their chances be to evade the eventual biomass of the planet's population? Well, if you're thinking, I'm in a dark room, I've been playing Stardew Valley all day, there's no chance that I'll be affected by the sunlight in this darkened bedroom, and I don't plan on going outside anytime soon. I'm afraid to break it to you, but you're done for too. How many people live in your city? A few million? Yeah, the vast majority of them are now an amorphous ball of flesh that will eventually get to you, considering the fact that they cover quite a lot of, well, surface area. Okay, what if you don't live in a city? What if you live in a small rural town with only a few thousand people? Yeah, okay, you're probably going to stand a little bit more of a chance in the immediate fallout of the SCP-001 event, but unless you're living in some remote location like Barrow, Alaska, then you're also pretty much done for. And in that instance, anywhere above the 60th parallel would probably be the worst place you could even imagine to be, given the fact that during the summer months, Barrow, Alaska and other such towns have consistent, constant sunlight. Perhaps the likeliest long-term survivors would be those caught in extreme situations deep underground or hidden within the bowels of the planet. Spelunkers who at the time of the event found themselves in a massive cavern system that had no chance of penetration via sunlight. Yeah, they're more than likely going to perish at some point, but hey, at least they'd have a fighting chance. Sewer or underground maintenance workers would find themselves in a similar kind of boat, and well, you know, anyone who finds themselves in a secret nuclear bunker, but they're already in the business of surviving pretty much anything anyway. So let them get on with it. Yeah, I think it goes without saying, it certainly wouldn't be a pretty sight, and for 99.99% of the population, it would be the ultimate end of the world in an eternal apocalypse of fleshy soup writhing around the planet until eventually the entire population of our species, as well as every single living creature on Earth, were one giant fleshy mass. Yeah. Let's be thankful that it's fictional, right? Well, there we have it, the long and short answer to the question, what if when day breaks was real? What do you guys think? Do you agree? Disagree? Have any more to add to this hypothetical situation? Then please let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, as well as any other intriguing insights that you may have on the matter. Before we depart from today's video, let's first take a quick look at some of your more creative comments over the past few days. Parasite Fusioner says, the video keeps skipping 10 seconds for me. Yeah, but buddy, I think you may have your palm held down on the screen. Either that or you're falling through the chrono stream. Either way, it's pretty cool. Well, on that note, let's chrono break our way out of here. Cheers, stick around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video or just life's biggest questions in general, then please be a dear and hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe bell. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your dismal flowing voice, Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.